Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amalia Khoirotun Hisaan. I am from Group 1. I would like to explain my resume about a methodological history of language teaching. Approach, method, and technique. Edward Anthony gave us a definition that has admirably withstood the test of time. His concept of method was the second of three hierarchical elements, namely approach, method, and technique. An approach, according to Anthony, was a set of assumptions dealing with the nature of language and teaching. Jack Richards and Theodore Rogers proposed a reformulation of the concept of method. Anthony approach, method, and technique were renamed respectively approach, design, and procedure, with a subordinate term to describe this three-step process, and now is called a method. An approach defines assumptions, beliefs, and theories about the nature of language learning. Following is a set of definitions that reflect the current usage and that will be used in this book. Methodology, pedagogical practice in general, including theoretical underpinnings and related research. Whatever considerations are involved in how to teach are methodological. Approach theoretically will inform position and beliefs about the nature of language. The second one about changing winds and shifting sands. Teaching methods as approach in action are of course the practical application of theoretical finding and position in a file such as ours that is relatively long. It should come as a surprise to discover a wide variety of this application over the last 100 years, some in total philosophical opposites to other. Albert Marquardt saw these changing winds and shifting sands as a cycling pattern in which a new method emerged about every quarter of a century. Each new method broke from the old but took with it some of the positive aspects of the previous practice. The third one about the grammar translation method. In the Western world, foreign language learning in school was synonym with the learning of Latin or Greek. Latin taught to promote intellectual through mental gymnastics was until relatively recently held to be indispensable to an adequate higher education. Latin was taught by means of what has been called the classical method, focused on grammatical rules, memorization of vocabulary, and various declension and conjunction, translation of text, and doing written exercise. In the 19th century, the classical method came to be known as the grammar translation method. There was little to distinguish grammar translation from what had gone on in foreign language classroom for centuries. Cluing and the series of methods. The history of modern foreign language teaching may be said to have begun in the late 18th with Francisco Guin, a French teacher of Latin with remarkable insight. History doesn't normally credit Guin as a founder of language teaching methodology because at the time his influence was overshadowed by that of Carlos Berlitz, the popular German founder of the direct method. Nevertheless, some attention to Guin's unusual perspective observation about language teaching help us to set the stage at the development of language teaching methods. The direct method, the naturalistic, simulating the natural way in which children learn first language approach of Guin and a few of his contemporaries didn't take hold immediately. A generation later, applied linguistics finally established the credibility of such approach. The audiolingual method was firmly grounded in linguistics and psychology theory. Structural linguists of the 1940 and 1950 were engaged in In what they got was a scientific descriptive analysis of various language. Teaching methodologies saw a direct application of such analysis to teaching linguistic pattern. Cognitive code learning, the age of audio-linguists with its emphasis on surface forms and on-the-road practice of sensitively produced pattern, began to when the Chomskyan revolution in linguistics. The last one about designer methods of separated in 1970. Cognitive language learning. The classroom isn't a class but a group that needs therapy and counseling, interpersonal communication to facilitate learning, capitalize the needs of the learners. The learners move away from complete dependence on the teacher translation through gradual independence as they gain more familiarity with the foreign language. Suggestopedia capitalize on relaxed state of mind for maximum attention of material. Music is central in this method, lead us to believe in the power of the human brain. The silent way, characterized by a problem-solving approach to learning. Students have to help each other in the process of solving language problems. They should develop independence, autonomy, and responsibility. The learner discover and create instead of remembering and repeating. The teacher silent most of the time is a stimulator. Total physical response. Associate language with physical activity. Motor activity is a right brain function that should locate left brain language processing. Students do a great deal of listening and acting. The teacher is a very directive nonverbal response in necessary. Human is easy to introduce. Eventually, students give verbal response to question, ask question, or etc. The natural approach. Speech should emerge naturally, and then production comes. Learner should be as realistic as possible in the classroom. A great deal of communication and acquisition should take place as opposed to analysis.